This is the Action Movie Guys podcast, bringing you action movie reviews from across the decades, plus box office numbers and insight like never before. And now, your hosts of the Action Movie Guys podcast, Alex and Nate.
Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of the Action Movie Guys podcast, episode 311, like the rock band, 311. Hey. Anyway, we're up to the final Mad Max film. Now, this is starring a new guy as Mad Max, but we're going to talk about that during our review. We're going to start reviewing today Mad Max Fury Road from 2015. I'm your host, Alex Figueroa. My co-host is
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
All right, Nate, give everybody who's our special guest today.
So we have a very special guest today. You guys know later this year, we started bringing on a third wheel, if you will, to our normal couple. We brought in a third wheel, and it's been a lot of fun having all these different guests come through. This week, we're very fortunate to have one of our good buddies. We've worked with him on a lot of other stuff, but this is his first time on the podcast. His name is David from the 4K Lowdown. David, please say hello to everybody and where they can find you.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, you can find me on the 4K Lowdown's YouTube page, also on Instagram, Letterboxd, Facebook, and all that jazz. So definitely check us out.
Check him out. He does a live show. He does unboxing videos, town hall, all kind of good stuff. Mystery Monday reviews. So go check him out. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. He's a good guy. He's our buddy, and he's going to talk some action with us.
And he does, if you guys are into supernatural
he's haunted.
David and his friend do some like ghost busting. And I know about ghost busting because I bust and it makes me feel good.
Busting makes me feel good. That's what it is.
David, let everyone know about your supernatural podcast that you do.
Yeah, that's called Spirits with Spirits, also on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all that good stuff. And basically what we do is we drink alcohol and talk about the paranormal. Ghosts, Bigfoot, aliens, all that
the
jazz.
Loch Ness Monster dude.
They do a seance with their beer.
And we do a live show every Friday night.
There you have it. On Black Sundays.
So he could talk movies with you, and he could talk demons with you. Whatever you want. Either one.
Okay. And if you have Deliver Us from Evil, then I can talk both.
There you go.
The same time.
There you have it. We're going to have Ralph go on your channel.
Oh,
Ralph would be pretty good because he's into that like demonic, like real life demonic and stuff like that. Like he's really into that possession stuff.
So he's
very
into,
super Catholic
and stuff.
That would be a really cool guest for your channel. He doesn't drink, so
we'll get you guys
give
connected.
him a bottle of wine.
We'll get you guys hooked up.
Yeah.
Well, then he can't be on. We're just gonna maybe some non-alcoholic beer. We'll do something to make it seem like he's drinking.
Yeah. No, he'll be actually literally
Heineken Zero.
He'll be a really good person to sit down and do that stuff with. He would be pretty good. But all right, with that said, let's get back to Mad Max Fury Road. George Miller back in the director's chair. Now let's talk about some financials here.
Yes.
Okay, this is the final financials of Mad Max. This movie budgeted at $150 million. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can see it. The visuals are there. The sand was real. Okay, it was in the CGI sand. Maybe it was. Worldwide, $380 million. I mean, Nate, we did all the other three, right? It's kind of low in terms of our modernized money, but the movies have been climbing up.
Yes. So here's what I will say about this. In my research into because I'm about to give you these scores.
Yeah.
This movie ended up losing the studio between 10 and 20 million because of the marketing on top of the budget. So while 380 is the most profitable Mad Max movie ever, it ended up losing a little bit of money. However, you guys might know this. They are making a Furiosa movie. You might say, well, if it lost money, why are they doing that? Well, brothers, I'm going to tell you right now. Not only does this movie have a 97% critic score, okay? 97, which is 16% increase from Thunderdome. So critics like this one way more. 86% audience score, okay? Which is a 37% increase from Thunderdome. But this bad boy was nominated for 10 Academy Awards, and it won 6 Academy Awards. And it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director. So it was a critical hit, and it lost a bit of money, but the studio was chomping at the bit to still do something with it because of all those accolades. I don't know if you guys find these surprising or not. I remember rooting for it at that year's Oscars for every single, I wanted it to win every single category. But so Alex, even though it was a little bit of a loss, it actually gained in overall And I think it made him a lot of money on home video. So I think ultimately it didn't totally lose, but.
Well, I want to ask you guys this before we go into the Rotten Tomatoes and all that.
Which I just.
When you heard a new Mad Max movie was coming out, right? You heard, oh my God, Fury Road. Were you guys surprised that Mel Gibson wasn't attached to come back as Mad Max to finish off the end? Because, you know, sometimes when it's these old franchises, they bring back the original, right? Like you got the John McClanes. They had 5 of them or 6 of them, right? Yeah. They had the Rockies. They had the Lethal Weapons. They all brought back the original actors in the role that launched their careers. Were you guys kind of shocked that they did not bring back Mel Gibson as Mad Max? So, David, take it away. What do you think of that when you first heard Mad Max Fury Road?
Well, I figured, you know, I was actually not surprised because I knew that he couldn't be Mad Max anymore. And we're talking like a 30-year difference between Thunderdome and Fury Road. I was surprised that he didn't have a cameo or some kind of part in it, but I also think that Mel Gibson wouldn't settle for that. Like Adam West in the 1989 Batman, he was like, I will only do it if I'm Batman. And I think Mel Gibson had the same type of thing.
All right. Nate, what do you think?
I can't say I'm surprised because you got to remember, I had never even seen a Mad Max movie before.
Before
Fury
the wrong
Road.
person to act.
I didn't care. I'll be honest with you.
Come
I
on.
didn't care at the time. Now, in doing my research, I found out they tried to make this movie since 1988. He was supposed to be in it. They tried to make it in the 90s. It didn't work. Then George Miller made Happy Feet. That thing made a lot of money. And finally they revisited it. And at this point, you got to remember, Mel Gibson was controversial at the time.
Oh, that's right.
And that's the reason they ended up not using him at all. So he was supposed to be in it all the way up until the mid 2000s. And when they finally made it, they had to recast him and then at that point, like David said, he was like, then it was 30 years later rather than 20 years later. So in hindsight, I wish he was in it, but we're going to get to this movie. I don't think the movie hurts for it, but I would have liked to see it now that I've seen the other ones.
I will say when I found out that they were making a new one, I really wanted him on as Mad Max because I felt like the character himself deserved that final send-off. That was just me because I already watched all of them as kids and all that stuff. So for me, I was like, Mel Gibson needs to come back and do this. Now, if you're going to tell me he can't do it, well, you know what? There's a lot of action movies my man did, and it looked like he still could pull it off. From Bloodfather, Edge of Darkness, all the straight-to-DVD action films that you see now, Expendables 3. He is still good actor. He's still believable. I mean, he's an Oscar award-winning dude for, director and all that. So he has the credentials. I was just very shocked. Again, I agree with you guys. I mean, even with a cameo, I couldn't see him in a cameo role myself because I don't think Mel Gibson doesn't look like a cameo guy. I don't know. For me, he doesn't look like it.
No.
That's like Clint Eastwood.
No.
They
You're
also
going to have Clint Eastwood do a cameo?
They also have
Western?
stunt doubles. Like, he could have done it. I mean, let's be honest. The next movie we're going to review next episode had a really old guy in it, and it didn't hurt for it. So I'm pretty sure Mel could have done it. In that, to your point, I agree.
No, because remember, me and you talked about it in Beyond Thunderdome. There's a scene that he has long hair, and I'm like, man, you could just did that in Fury Road too. He had the long white hair with the same leather jacket, just look more bulky and stocky, like if he's been, lifting V engines to lift weights. But anyway, that's our sense in that. All right, let's take it away. Lead character, Mad Max. Now it's a new character. Tom Hardy is playing Mad Max. This is the legendary role that kicked off my man Mel Gibson's career. All right, David, you're going to kick it off since you're the special guest. You know how it works here. All right, go ahead. Take it away. What do you think of Tom Hardy's first outing?
I think Tom Hardy did a good job. He sounded a lot like Bane in the movie, which was a little disappointing, but I kind of understood it. I liked the action. I liked what he did, the show of emotion in his eyes. So yeah, if I'm going to give that a score, I'm going to give it a 4 because I think he was good, but not great, because I left comparing him to Mel Gibson the whole time.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Well, I thought Tom Hardy was very good. He's an actor that I like. He did the low talking, but he did sound like Mel Gibson at times, like the Australian, how Mel Gibson sounded in those movies. And maybe it's just because I watched them all close together. I have it. But I will say this, in going on this journey, this character functions the exact same way he functioned in the last 2 movies.
Yeah.
He shows up as in the beginning and is sucked into this thing he wants nothing to do with, is forced to, it's the same arc as far as and look how the movie ends with him in a crowd walking away like, I'm out of here.
We're off into the sunset.
So it's not, as far as development, there's none. I do like how they tied in one thing I do like is the whole thing with the dead kid where he keeps seeing his dead son and he's like, that line he talks about being hunted by these people and haunted by the people he couldn't save. Like that gave a little bit more meat to him, but even still, I don't think it was amazing. I did factor in Furiosa, by the way, because I feel like it's almost as much her movie as Hardy's movie. I thought she's a she's a great character, but I still gave it a 4. I did score Hardy overall. If it was both combined, I would probably go 5 because I enjoyed the both of them together. But for Hardy, 4, I agree with David.
Yeah, I agree with all of you guys. I give it a 4. I agree with Nate. One thing, watching these all back to back, you kind of see that. Well, the good thing is that when they wrote the script, it felt like Mad Max. Like they didn't change him and they didn't make him a super action-packed guy like they always do when they revamp these characters. They kept him the same. He did not talk as much in this movie. Like at all, just like the Mel Gibson one. So I was really intrigued to see if they were going to give him more dialogue, which they didn't. And even when he did, like, my theory on him being this mythical person is I think to me it's kind of solidifying it now watching this movie on the 4th one. I mean, granted, it is a new person under the the Mad Max, but I kind of feel like he's a mythological creature because by the time this dude is done, they're going to forget about him. They're not going to know who Mad Max is at the end of everything. It's just like, and he didn't give him his name towards when she's dying anyway, so she's not gonna remember Max.
But he got to be real. Remember, you had that theory where he might be dead, like he might be a ghost. He can't be because he was giving that guy blood, so he must exist.
Now he is. Now he is. Yeah.
But I agree with you. He just comes into these. He's the title character in every movie, but he never is the driving force of the plot in any of the movies. He just like happens to be there every time.
Yeah, he's like the A-team of the desert. He's like if you need a problem, call Mad Max.
Or force me into it against my will. That's pretty much what happens every time.
Yeah, like he is like, you know what's crazy? He's the movie version of Jack Reacher. Is the same thing. He goes to another state to look for whatever, and all of a sudden he's in the middle of a freaking conspiracy, and he has to solve it now because he's like he's a police, a army police person or whatever it is. Yeah, military police. Yeah. So like, I feel like he's like the movie version of that character, but just a post-apocalyptic, so look, at the end of everything, I did enjoy him. I liked him. In terms of Charlize Theron's character, it's funny because if you watch the trailer to the new version of that character, Furiosa, it says a Mad Max spinoff. Like, you really don't have to say a Mad Max spinoff. Everyone knows
everybody knows.
Everyone knows who Furiosa. So it's like, to me, I'm like, why do you have to keep using the Mad Max name? So like, to me, it's just like it's kind of interesting with these things. But I liked her character. I thought she was really well. I'm very disappointed. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Even watching the trailer, I'm like, it doesn't feel like the Charlize Theron's character. I mean, I know she has her 2 arms, and you're gonna find out when she loses it, and all this, and they take her away from her parents, and all this jazz. But I wish they brought her back as a sequel, not a prequel. I'd
rather see what else happens than what happened before. I'm
like
really
her going up. Yeah, I like to see what goes on. Maybe Mad Max does come back. Like, I mean, you never know to help. But anyway, that's just me. Gave it a 4. Okay, main villain now is Mortal Joe, right? Immortal Joe.
Immortal Joe.
Yeah, Immortal Joe / Toe Cutter, because it's the same actor from the first Mad Max movie. That's right. So it's actually pretty cool. So let's go around. Nate, what do you think of him coming back as another villain?
All right, so let's be honest. I think we liked him the best out of all the villains in the first 3 movies. I like him. First of all, he looks cool as hell. Honestly, it's a great look as far as a villain. The mask with the crazy teeth, and then the long hair, and then his big weird like see-through plastic bodysuit. Love it. I think he looks incredible. Love the voice. I think this is the next best villain in the series. He's definitely better than freaking Tina Turner, and he's way better than whatever that guy was with the mask in the second one, who looks like a wrestler. Yeah, I kept saying his name, but now that it's been a couple weeks, I don't remember his name. So I think he's a great villain. I like that he leaves the thing. He goes out. He participates in the action. He shoots people. He kills people. He blows them up. I'm into that. I we always talk about when they have the villains who like don't really do anything, or it's kind of disappointing. So I thought he was awesome. I gave him a 4 as well. I thought he was a very good villain in this franchise that doesn't have great villains. He's more memorable than maybe any of the other ones, to be honest.
Yeah. All right, David, what do you give it?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I agree with everything that Nate said. I think Immortan Joe was an awesome character, a creepy, just visceral, really just, cultish. And it was, I liked how they did it. And I also want to throw a nod to my buddy Nathan Jones, who played Rictus Erectus or something like that. Big, tall guy. I used to wrestle with him.
Oh, nice.
So because of him adding to it, I'm going to actually go 5 for the villain. I think really creepy. I love that the whole group going after him. I thought that was awesome. So yeah, I'm going to go 5 for villain.
I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, it's funny because this is the most villainies that we got in all the Mad Maxes, right? Like, because you got, I mean, the Road Warrior, you got them, but there wasn't as bunches because remember, this was in the 80s, so they didn't have much extras. They didn't have much money to get more extras and vehicles and all that stuff. Now they spent $150 million on the budget, so they could get tons of people, which they did. I'm gonna go with David on this. I'm gonna give it a 5 because look, let me just tell you, my man had a rig with a dude playing guitar and on a bungee cord.
No eyes.
That
is the best shit I ever seen in a damn
movie. That's
movie.
the best guitar ever.
Yeah, and then he has flames coming out. And then the dudes in the back are hitting drums, and I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah.
How much electricity is that one vehicle pumping the whole way? And I was like, I loved it.
That's the best road music ever.
And I think, I mean, all jokes aside, like I think the designs of these villains were outstanding. I thought they had a purpose. I love the ones that had the stick that did the for the second. Was it the second movie? They had the stick that bends and
that was this one.
That was this one, right? Yeah.
I
thought that whole sequence was pretty cool. Immortal Joe, though, my man is pretty cool. They blow baby powder on his back for some damn reason.
They got all them boils.
Well, maybe. I mean, wearing that thin ass plastic thing to cover his boils. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Then you have David's boy when he was like, I had a baby brother. He was perfect in every way. Yeah.
He was perfect in every way.
He picked up a whole V8 engine, and I was like, this dude is crazy. Like,
pulled it right out of the truck.
Yeah, he ripped it out. So, like, to me, I think like the whole mythology of the whole, like, if they died, they go to Valhalla and all that Viking shit. They made it all up just to get them to do stuff. I liked it. And again, Mortal Joe is really cool. He bangs the hot chicks, tries to make good, babies and stuff, and then he goes out and does stuff. And he has a big wheel, bro. Like a big wheel rig. I'm like, that you can't ask for that. That shit is awesome. And come on, you have a theme song everywhere you go, bro. That's crazy. Imagine a theme song. See, Nate, that's what I'm talking. That's what we got to do. We got to have a big reel playing our theme song. It goes, like
a big horn, like
a big
on the top of the car.
Nothing but speakers behind it.
A big geezer flicks in. We have Ralph playing. Yeah.
Have Ralph playing.
That's what we'll do. Jay, the immortal Jay. Yeah.
I like it. I'm with it.
I'm there. All right, 5, 4. Okay, I already know where we're going with this. All right, action scenes, David.
It's a 5. I'm not even going to play. It's a 5. They said I watched the special features, and they said they did 140 cars, and their set was 140 kilometers of desert, and that's what they used. And most of it was practical effects. They didn't use a whole lot of CGI. The stunts were awesome. The explosions were great. 5 across the board. I'd give it a 6 if I could. But you only told me I could go to 5.
You only go to 5. All right, 8.
I don't know why you're asking. I don't even know why you're asking me this question about this. I know
it's 5.
I don't even know why you're asking me this question. This is out of all the 311 episodes we've done. This is one of the easiest 5s I've given out. I've given out some easy 5s. There've been a couple where it's just like, come on, this is a piece of cake. This is one of them. Easiest 5. First of all, like David said, a lot of practical. Obviously, there's CG. You have the storm. You have a couple of bodies that do some hit the floor kind of. No one's doing that stunt. You know what I mean? But even if 85% is practical, that's amazing in modern day action movies. The freaking guys on the sticks is such a cool visual when they're like just swinging across, and then behind them stuff's exploding, just blowing up like crazy explosions. I love the scene with the guys on the motorbikes that are jumping in the air and they're like sniping them out of the air. This got cars, trucks, motorcycles, guns, punching, kicking, everything. It's got every form of action you can have. And the key is that it all looks incredible. It's like extremely well shot, well executed, gorgeous 5.
All right. Well,
you're not going to do it.
I'm going to have to do it. I know I'm going to have to do it. Well, I'm going to give this a 4 plus 1 is 5. Because let me tell you.
4 plus 1.
I'm going to add 1.
I'm going to add 1 for deliciousness. Because, man, this thing is succulent of action.
Yeah.
Mad succulent.
It's yummy.
Let me just tell you, this thing from the get-go, this dude has his paranoia craziness, standing looking at the desert, jumps in the car, cars flips over. I'm like, holy hell, the sound bar in my damn surround sound is blowing V8 sounds all over the place. It's one of the best sounding movies, I think, in 4K.
Won an Oscar for sound mixing and sound editing.
Dude, sound mixing, sound, and I don't know what the hell they did. They must have had cars in their shit attached to microphones because, bro, I could feel the engines hemming. And I was like, I love it. The sequences alone, driving through that, what the hell you call it, the FS5, whatever the tornado sandstorm, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, the sandstorm, F5. That thing is like crazy good. I don't know. George Miller is so good with this shit, but I don't understand. He's like another James Cameron that decides to take 10 years to do another action movie. This came out in 2015, and we have no sequel to this damn movie except a prequel to a character that's not even the main character of the damn franchise. So, like, to me, it's like, geez.
9 years
you gotta
later,
pump 'em out.
by the way. Comes out next year. So you're right. 9 years between.
Yeah, between the Furiosa and this one. So it's like, I don't know. I just, to me, it's like, man, with the action that we have here, we gotta have more. Like, to me, we should have had more. And it would have been cool if it was in another like destination, them driving through the desert, like maybe San Francisco. They try to go over the Golden State Bridge, you know what I mean? No, the Golden Gate or the freaking Cindy or whatever the hell it is. But no, in terms of action, I think this has everything. I think it has everything you want. You got big wheels. It keeps on turning like Tina Turner.
I was going to go Tina Turner on it too.
That was last movie. That was last movie.
I'm telling you, big wheels keep on turning. Man, it just had everything. I don't know. I just feel like this thing had everything you want in a Mad Max movie. Now, is it better than the other films? I'm going to talk about that in terms of in overall, because there's some stuff I want to talk about in that. But 5 across the board on this one. Storyline, Nate.
Okay, you know me. Here I go. You know me. I'm probably more harder, greater sometimes when it comes to story, but I don't give a care. I think this storyline is good. I would say very good. It's not a 5. It, like the other Mad Maxes, and we touched on it in the lead character, it is so similar as far as the structure. He's out and by himself. He gets involved in a thing. The thing leads to action, and then he goes away as a myth of, like a mythological guy. It is really the same thing. This one reminds me most of Road Warrior as far as story. It's a very similar storyline. This one is like that movie on steroids as far as visuals and action, but story-wise, it's very similar. I do, like I said, I like the fact that they added in the stuff where he's kind of seeing the people he couldn't save and all that. I like the Furiosa edition. She's the absolute best secondary character in any of these movies. But like hands down, it's not even close. I like the villain story. Like I like the overall story. I think it's good. You know what I like about it? They just dropped you in, right? Like I told you, I had never seen a Mad Max movie, and I went to see this at the theater and I knew nothing about it. And I was able to watch this movie without having had to see the other movies. Flashbacks of a dead kid. Okay, he had a kid. He couldn't save the kid. I don't really need to have seen it because I know it happened. And then from there, it's self-contained. So I think it's a very well done storyline. I give it a 4. I don't think this is like a masterful story, but a very, very good for this franchise. 4.
All right, David.
Yeah, I'm on board with the 4, and for a lot of the same reasons that Nate had, but you didn't need complicated. It was simple. It was direct. It was to the point. It does very much play like Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, which is my favorite of the franchise for sure. So I really liked how this played out. And yeah, you don't have to watch the previous movies to get anything from this. If you know anything about post-apocalyptics, there's mutants, there's funky cars, and everybody wants gas. So that's the standard plot all across the board. So yeah, I went 4 for storyline.
Yeah, I agree. I went with 4 also on this movie. I enjoyed it for what it was. I liked it. I mean, just like David said, this one was a little bit similar. I'm not saying 100%, but it's kind of similar to the second film of the franchise with Mel Gibson. But it was a little bit different in all aspects of the film. I do like the fact that the villain in this one, like it was like a double negative. He left, like you got to see him leave, and then he went, oh shit, they got to go back because no one's defending it. Like, holy crap. And I kind of like that because it brought more to the story. Like, it was a long chase, and it was just like, why are they going back? It's like, oh, because it's undefended. It was like, oh shit. Yeah, holy crap. All that free water and grass and
I left the door unlocked.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're gonna get our milk. We gotta go back.
So like
our mother's milk.
Yeah, so like for me, I felt like the story was fun. It was engaging, but to me, I just love it because this one was truly high octane action film, and I think that's why I kind of liked it because it's high octane. So I got high on that. So I liked it. So I gave it a 4 on that. Okay, overall, David.
Overall, this is an interesting. So I'm gonna use a dad joke here. Overall, this movie was like camping because it is intense. So
Waka waka.
Waka waka, boom boom. I'm here all week.
Try
Thank
the
you.
veal.
But try the veal. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think absolutely number 2 in the franchise. Really close to Road Warrior for me. I'm going to go overall 5. I think it's amazing. I think it checks all the boxes for what you want in this type of movie. And I rewatched it today, and I was still, white knuckling it, even though I've seen the movie a dozen times. So absolute 5 for me.
All right.
Having seen all of them just over the last 4 weeks and a first time watch for 2 of them because I had seen Mad Max a little while ago. To me, this is easily the best of the 4 movies. I also give it a 5, even though, the storyline's not the best storyline, but I think Alex, or David, you said something like it fits what they need. You don't always need, a super deep storytelling and all that stuff. So it fits what they need. Great characters. The reason why it's a 5 to me, though, on top of this is an action podcast, and on top of this being literally one gigantic action scene, the whole movie is a chase scene. It is a chase scene. The movie opens with chasing people, and the movie ends with people chasing people. And then as soon as they get there, the movie's over. Like there is just one big extended chase scene. To pull that off, to be a 2-hour action scene, essentially, with maybe 15, 20 minutes of non-action is incredible. Okay, it looks incredible. This is the best looking Mad Max movie. It's not even close. This is the best sounding Mad Max movie. It's not even close. The score by Junkie XL, I loved it. I remember when it came out, I listened to it on iTunes as far as the score. It's fantastic. The rock music mixed with the traditional sort of movie score. It's a phenomenal movie. Great cast, great everything. So yeah, I give it a 5 as well.
Yeah, all right. So I was a little torn with this one. I'm gonna give it a 5 because in terms of this film alone, this movie had everything I wanted. It had a great score, great action, great actors, great characters. Everything felt like you were watching a Mad Max movie.
Yes.
All right, total points, David.
23.
Oh, nice score.
Coming in hot. I had a 22.
I'm coming in at a 23. Yeah,
I'm
that's a
the low
high.
man
That's a
this
high
week.
one. Yeah, you are.
That's because
You
I gave
didn't
the
like
villain a 4. That's because I gave that was the only reason.
You gave the villain 4. Otherwise, we were all
on
the same
page
scores.
everywhere else.
Yeah, we're all on the same page.
Well,
Coming up, we are starting off Michael Bay month, Bayhem December, with a little movie called The Rock. So we're going to be covering that. David will be back as a guest for that show. And then, Alex, we're kicking off a new franchise. Now, I don't know how this is going to go because 2 of these movies I haven't seen in forever. One of them I've seen 100 times, and one of them I saw once. So we're going a little sci-fi comedy action with the Men in Black franchise. So we will be doing
Lord.
Men in Black, Men in Black 2, Men in Black 3, and Men in Black International. That's the one that's really going to be, I saw that once and never again. So I don't know if I like it or not. I will, when we rewatch sometimes, it's happened to both of us. We'll be like, I hate this movie. And then we watch it and we're like, 4. And sometimes we'll be like, I like this movie, 2. So
Yeah.
you never know.
I will say this when it comes to that franchise. I don't watch it much. It's been ages since I've seen the first 3.
But
I've never seen
the
part
first
4.
one like a ton of times.
Yes, same
Been on
here too.
TV all
But
the time.
I never seen the Chris Hemsworth version, so this is the first
Oh.
time watch for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I refused to see when I saw the trailer. I was like, "Oh man, this looks like shit." And
You didn't
now,
like the Fergie song in the trailer? My London,
no.
London bridge gonna go down like a London.
At least they didn't do what they were going to do, because they were going to merge 21 Jump Street and Men
I
in
remember
Black,
that.
and they were going to do like a 23 Jump Street with the Men in
23
Black
Jump Street in
guys
Black.
with Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, and I'm like, oh, that is going to be a train wreck. So this wasn't much better. I actually wonder now.
That might have been
maybe-
better than Men in
maybe I
Black
would've liked that.
International, actually.
Yeah, maybe I would have liked Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum as Men in
Those
Black.
movies are funny.
I don't know.
But-
I mean, like I said, I never seen those. I did watch the other 3, so
Well, Alex, lucky
Yeah.
for you, we're going to be doing Men in Black International, so your London Bridge is going to be going down, like Fergie said.
Oh, man.
Don't tell me she's in the movie.
She's not.
Cameo.
She was just in the trailer. Just the song in the trailer.
Okay.
But Liam Neeson is in it.
No.
Yep.
Is he like the
Secret,
new?
it's a secret Liam Neeson movie.
Yes.
You didn't want to know
It's a
he's in
hidden, it's a
it.
hidden Liam Neeson movie.
Liam Neeson month part 3, Men in Black
Oh,
International. Let's go.
Oh Jesus! Wasn't one of them had Michael Jackson?
Yeah, the second one.
Be Agent M.
It's either the
Agent-
first or
Yeah, it was the
second.
second
He
one.
appears on the screen as an alien. He's like an alien or something. I
It,
thought.
it was the
Yeah.
second one.
Johnny Knoxville.
Oh, okay.
I remember that.
I do remember that one. Then
Bro,
they had the guy from
I
Monk.
don't remember 2, 3, or 4. I only know 1. I only know part 1. So I'm actually looking forward to doing Men in Black. We will have a guest on that show as well. Scotty Boy is coming back, Mr. Scott. So he'll be there for Men in Black.
All right, there you have it, guys. You guys want to follow us in our social media accounts? Please follow Nate over on Instagram. Now, he goes live every other Monday when we're not live on Geeks and Flicks on YouTube. Check him out on Instagram at NateFlix Reviews. Then check out the podcast that he does his live streams with called NateFlix Movie Reviews over on anything you listen to, on any platform you listen to your podcast on. In terms of action movie guys, head over to Instagram at Geeks and Flicks. Then, of course, head over to our official website, www.geeksandflicks.com. We have all the podcasts there. I have to update the website with all the with all of the podcast movies.
You have an excuse.
It's yeah, pretty much. But yeah, the website will be updated. But yes, you can go there, www.geeksandflicks.com. Other than that, I'm your host, Alex Figueroa. My co-host is
Nate from NateFlix Reviews.
David. Please let everyone know where they could find you.
You can find me at the 4K Lowdown on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Letterboxd, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. And the Faces for Radio podcast runs every Wednesday night at 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern.
In your spirits.
Spirits with Spirits, Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And that is Spirits with Spirits with John and Dave on YouTube, or Spirits with Spirits on Facebook or Twitter.
There you have it, guys. Be awesome to each other and geek out.